Hey guys, it's the Lord here, back again with another edition of Flashback Fridays, and what I have for you today is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Tytus Build-A-Figure Wave Marvel's Angela, not to be confused with Image Comics' Angela from Spawn. This is not the same character in any way, shape, or form, and of course, I'm kidding. I mentioned this in the Angela review I did yesterday for the Spawn Series 2 Angela from the Vintage Spawn line, that there was a licensing agreement or disagreement, depending on how you look at it. So Angela wound up in the hands of good old Marvel Comics as a part of Thor's kin. So she is Asgardian now, which, since Asgard is either a sub-part of heaven or the heaven in the Marvel Universe, that makes sense. So, you know, they were able to incorporate her quite well, I think. But since I no longer have the packaging for this figure, we're going to move right along to the accessories. And other than a Tytus Build-A-Figure part, she does come with two, count them, two of these little axe blade sickle thingies. I don't know what these are. Little hand axes. She comes with two of them. It's the same piece. And she also comes with a sword here, which I want to say they've reused this a couple of times. I know they've given it to Lady Sif, but don't quote me on that. But it does fit on the sheath on her buttocks there. It's her little draped kind of waist cape, whatever you want to call it, skirt piece. Kind of looks like she farted because it's blowing in the wind there. But at any rate, getting into the meat and taters of this review. Didn't think I was going to forget that line again, did you? You should know me better than that by now. This figure's gorgeous, man. This is what a Marvel Legends female figure should look like. Unfortunately, most of them don't. They look like anemic noodle people. Which, can Marvel Legends get their head out of their ass if they're going to be $25? Please? I don't know. We're not getting shit like this no more. I don't know why. This is a solid figure. Like, no gummy joints on this one. She's not even pinless either. She got the big old pins there, but she only has, what, 4 of them? And she has single elbows, which, oh no, single elbows, eh. I don't know. As long as it keeps an ugly pin from being visible on a female figure, I'm all for single elbows. Not to mention, not everybody has to be like Spider-Man, you know? Especially when they got armor like this. And can I just be honest, this is actually a little bit better than the vintage one that had like no armor. This one's like covered in it. Her arms are covered, her chest is covered. And imagine she's got something on her crotch under that little piece of underwear there. And then she's got these big old honking metal boots that go all the way up to her thighs. Granted, she's got a little bit of the 90s showing with this exposed belly and cleavage here. But yeah, she's just so much better. And then she's got this little scarf piece, which you could take off. That's not hard to do. But let's look at this head sculpt here. Look at that. Proportionate to the body. Really kind of pretty, while really kind of kick-ass at the same time. She's got her wing tiara thing still. Helmet. It's probably more of a helmet nowadays. Just look at the sculpt on this. This is by far one of my favorite Marvel Legends of all time. Not just because it's Angela, just because it's so damn good. Look at this figure. If you don't have this, I feel sorry for you. But as far as articulation goes, her head is on a ball joint. You can look up and down a little bit. It is on a hinge too, but that hinge is a little tight. But she can kind of lollipop it up. And unlike some lollipops on Legends, this one isn't terrible. I would prefer it not to have the lollipop, just so I didn't have the bobblehead syndrome, but it's not too loose, so I'll let it slide. Shoulders go out to the side. You're going to have a little trouble with these shoulder pads, but you can get them out pretty far. Especially this one. We'll just focus on this side. But this side, you can push the shoulder pad up over the torso a little bit and get that arm out to about a right angle, which is really nice. Put it back down. She's got forward and back. She's got a single joint in the elbow, which gives you just about 90. And then she has a swivel in the elbow as well. She has a swivel in the wrist as well as a hinge. And on this side it goes up and down, but on the right side it goes in and out. So kind of like a G.I. Joe Classified series in a way. Then she has a diaphragm joint, which works pretty well. She can crunch forward, crunch back a little bit of side-to-side tilt. Really, really nice there. Hips, kick out to the side. Not terrible, not great either, but it is Angela. She is wearing armor. I don't know how agile she is, and maybe that's just some schmoozy keeping that from... it is. So, you know, if I were to shave this little kind of seam line down, I'd probably get a little bit more range out of that, because that's probably what's hindering it. More so than not. Yeah. There you go. That's a little better. But, don't want to scratch the paint if there's any down there. Only real gripe with this figure is that she does have a thigh cut, but it's before the boot cut. And I wish they put the cut down by the boot. That way it was seamless. Other than that, I have like little to no gripes with this figure. This thing is amazing. Excuse me. But she does have double knee. Works pretty well. Doesn't take a bunch of chunks out of the knee either when you bend it. And she has a hinge in the ankle here with a rocker joint. And she's got peg holes at the bottom of the feet in case you wanted to throw her on a stand. And let me actually check something here. Does she work on a McFarlane stand? Because that would kind of be funny. She does! Look at that! How about that? Perfect fit. So, she will work with your Spawn Universe stuff to a point. I mean, aesthetically, she is the Marvel version, but you could throw her in there if you wanted. You could even throw her on a Spawn stand. So, there you go. I don't have a Spawn stand free to really use, but I guess I could always take the Violators and throw it on her. Let's give her her little axe thingies. These aren't too hard to get in her hands, if I remember correctly. It's got to kind of twist. And there. I don't know how she's supposed to hold these. I always have her holding them like this. You can have them hold them like this. So they're more of like gouge your face off type weapons. Yeah, this figure is freaking awesome, dude. I really wish Hasbro would step up the game, and I don't know. I'd be happy if they just re-released this figure with more weapons or something as a deluxe. I'd buy it again. That way I can have one with my Marvel stuff, one with my Spawn stuff, but fortunately she's not exactly relevant in the comics right now. She came in during the whole Age of Ultron thing, where Ultron had like 6 arms, which we never got that figure either. It was kind of surprising. But she came in during that whole thing and kind of helped whoop Ultron's ass. And other than this figure, there is a, I think Diamond Select has made a Mini-Mates and a PVC statue of her, but unfortunately no Diamond Select version, because that, if they made a Diamond Select Angela, I would definitely pick it up to put it with my Spawn Universe stuff, because she'd be a little bit more to scale then. Because Spawn Universe is kind of big, even for McFarlane Toys standards. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's our Marvel Legends Angela next to her vintage counterpart from Spawn Series 2. Again, I did a Throwback Thursdays on that yesterday, so please check that out if you haven't already. As well as another femme fatale, the Executive Replicas Coffin Comics Lady Death. And again, I would do a throwback on that old Claiborne Moore Lady Death figure, but I just can't seem to find it right now, so maybe someday, I guess. And last, but certainly not least, we have our 2 regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, 11 Spawn, as usual, towers over everyone, much like her vintage counterpart, even though she does have that winged crown tiara helmet thing going on. She's still dwarfed by her Dambe, good old Al Simmons here. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and what else can I say, that this is by far one of my top 5 favorite Marvel Legends of all time. That's right, not just top 10, top freaking 5, dude. This figure is all kinds of kick-ass, and if you don't have one in your collection, I'm just gonna say I feel sorry for you, and you're missing out on what is one of the best Marvel Legends Hasbro's ever given us and is ever going to give us. Even though it has somewhat dated articulation, I know they're starting to do double jointed elbows and bicep swivels on females nowadays, and she does have the pins in the knees. Again, we're starting to get into pinless tech with the Legends line as well. I think as far as the sculpt, paint, detail, and even articulation, because she's in a badass pose, right? Is this a badass pose? I think it's a badass pose. I don't think you need all the bells and whistles to do very good poses with most figures, but, you know, I've been proven wrong before, especially with that retro Spider-Man body. Really love messing around with that thing. But at any rate, I don't think you need a ton of articulation to have a really solid figure of any kind. And this is definitely one of those times, because she has single jointed elbows, and I still think she looks amazing in this stance, or any stance for that matter. So, you know, I'm not a big articulation junkie, but I know that's a thing for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, sometimes less is more, and in this case, I think you're getting a lot more sculpt and paint than you would have if this thing did have the pinless tech and the double elbows and the bicep swivels and all the bells and whistles that the current Legends female figures are starting to have. That and the proportions are probably some of the best we've ever gotten on a Marvel Legends female since the Green Goblin Wave Black Cat figure with her big-ass chesticles. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition of Flashback Fridays. If you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. And if you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil. The world sucks enough as it is, especially when we ain't getting dope-ass female figures like this very often in the Marvel Legends line. G.I. Joe Classified's another story. We'll talk about that another day, maybe. But, as always, that being said, until next time, I'll catch you guys later.